Hey, what's up guys, we're back with What If Naruto Was Raised by Itachi. Enjoy. Chapter 3. The superior inferior Naruto was on his way home after beating the old man repeatedly in shogi, not to mention explaining to Kakashi that he had been training with someone way stronger than him. He didn't like that, seeing as he had been the strongest, second only to Itachi, but no one knew where he was. Then Naruto dropped the bombshell and claimed that he was all around stronger than Kakashi, which really didn't sit well with the lazy Jonin. Kakashi had challenged him to back up those words, only for Naruto to laugh in his face. Now Naruto was just entering the gates of the Uzuka's estate, when he felt the familiar pull. He closed and locked the gates, then flashed away. Valley of the End. Naruto flashed in front of the falls at the Valley of the End, only to see he was the only one there. Alright. Who called me? Hello, Naruto-kun. Itachi. Are you telling me you found them all already? Asked Naruto as he watched Itachi emerge from behind the cascading water. No, I have 3 of the 4 left, but there is something you should see. Stated Itachi as he walked back into and through the falls. Naruto followed, not sure what to expect on the other side. When he finally broke through the plane of water, he was shocked to see a very well lit and sealed off cavern. Who or what the hell is in there? Asked Naruto. I'm not positive, but I believe it's Madara. There's definitely someone laid to rest here that had great power buried here, though this place has been visited in the last 20 or so years, so I don't know for sure. Stated Itachi as he and Naruto moved down the tunnel. So have you found them all yet? Asked Naruto. No, so far I have the brothers and the third. Hopefully Madara will be in here. If not, well, we still have 5 of the 6, right? Joked Itachi, something he picked up from Naruto, though anyone who knew him from before the massacre would have needed a double take. True, but with how big a pain in the ass it was for the first 2, I wanted to have this done ASAP. Stated Naruto as he reached the barrier. He removed his sunglasses and observed the barrier. It's all chakra. Strange, it's exactly like the one in Uzu. What does that mean? Does that mean an Uzumaki is buried here? Questioned Itachi, though more to himself than anything. Only one way to find out. Pray to path. Called out Naruto as he held a palm to the barrier, effectively absorbing the barrier, only for it to seemingly replenish. Do I have to overpower it? The barrier in Uzushio was just absorbed. Naruto tried again, this time it finally went down. After it was gone, Naruto and Itachi moved forward into the well-lit cavern. Now why are there 2 coffins? True to his words, there were 2 coffins, one of red oak, the other of a strange black material, like metal, but it didn't shine. Naruto walked up to the red coffin and found it had the Uchiha crest carved masterfully on it. He opened it, only to find it empty, only hair on the pillow. Meanwhile, Itachi walked over to the other coffin. There were no markings, no symbols, not even a scuff or scratch. He went to open the coffin, and he felt his chakra begin to drain at an alarming rate, along with it going haywire. Naruto-kun. I cannot open this coffin. It drains my chakra much too fast. Perhaps you can. Stated Itachi, before he saw that there was nothing in the coffin Naruto was standing next to. An empty coffin. No, he was here at one point, though not anymore. Do you have any sacrifices I could use for Edo Tensei? There's DNA here. Stated Naruto. Itachi nodded and pulled out a status scroll, used to transport anything living, without it dying. He tossed the scroll to Naruto, who unsealed the body, only to see it was an Iwa ninja, near death, so he would have to work quickly. Edo Tensei. Called Naruto after preparing both the body and the hair. In an instant, a coffin rose from the earth beneath the room and opened. How am I here? Questioned the figure. Long black hair covering his right eye. His left eye gazing around, almost aimlessly, but Naruto knew better. This man was one of the strongest ever. He was assessing the situation and more importantly, assessing him. Madara Uchiha. So that was your coffin, but who's in the black one then? Questioned Naruto as he pointed to the black coffin. How did you bring me here? Questioned Madara, who continued to look around, seeing he was in what was to be his final resting place. Well, until it happened. Madara continued to look around, when he noticed he had 2 eyes again, only to see his hands were no longer wrinkled. And why am I no longer old? I just summoned you using Edo Tensei, though it seems you know that. Now could you tell me who you shared this tomb with? Asked Naruto. I can't answer both those questions with one of my own. How did you summon me back from the dead, when I was never dead in the first place? Questioned Madara as he stepped out of the coffin and walked towards the two Konoha nin. What do you mean you never died? I thought that Hashirama killed you when you defected. And if you never died, then why was your DNA in that coffin? Questioned Itachi. I didn't die fighting Hashirama, but he thought he killed me, so is, what I can only guess was a sign of respect. He buried me here, though I was dying. I never did. I eventually woke up in that coffin, and left this place. I traveled the world, protected Konoha from the outside, and eventually, I became. Well, I guess you could call it a shell of my former self. My body gave out, but thankfully I have some of Hashirama's DNA in my body, and I was able to survive by unnatural means until now, when you somehow summoned me with Tobirama's accursed jutsu. Listed off Madara. And seeing as you're my new master, at least for now, what can I do for you? I bought you back so you could serve me, stated Naruto. Obviously, that's the whole point of this jutsu. Stated Madara with a sweat drop. Wanna let me finish? I want you to serve as one of my paths. Stated Naruto. Madara looked shocked. Path? You can't possibly mean that you have the Rinnegan? Questioned Madara. Naruto nodded and took off his glasses, showing that he did indeed have the Rinnegan, though his was blue, not purple. Your Rinnegan is not normal. How can you be sure that you can use the path jutsu? Summoning jutsu. Paths, stated Naruto as he summoned his two paths. Madara, I'd like you to meet my two paths, first my father, and my animal path, Minato Namikaze, 4th Hokage of Konoha. Minato summoned a small red toad with Rinnegan eyes. And my Naraka path, and also my mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Kushina then healed Itachi of his minor chakra exhaustion and the chakra burns on his palms. Madara Uchiha. Naruto, is this who you plan to have as the Diva path? Questioned Minato. He had the Rinnegan as well, though his was purple. The only piercing he had was in his right ear, same a Kushina. You're a path. How do you have a consciousness? And how do you have only one piercing? Questioned Madara. When he attempted his own paths, it was nothing like this. I revived them and then made them paths. It was rather simple, yet a pain in the ass to pull off. So what do you say, Madara? Will you join willingly? I give you back your soul and you will have basically free will, as long as it doesn't interfere with my plans, or will you deny, in which case I'll kill you and use your body, where you will once again be dead? Asked Naruto. Seems the only choice I really have is to join willingly, though I do wish to know who the other paths will be. Hashirama will be the human path, Tobirama will be the Preta path, and the third Raikage will be the Asura path. Stated Naruto. So I will, for all intensive purposes, be alive, I will be able to do whatever I want, fight however I want, and all I have to do is allow you to boss me around and follow some guidelines, questioned Madara. That's the gist of it. Hell, I'm only planning on summoning you if I'm in trouble. Other than that, you don't even have to be in the same country as me. Stated Naruto. Oh, and you won't age. The jutsu seems to put the body on a type of status. You'll get to use any jutsu you could before, plus my gravity manipulations. And what if I already have the Rinnegan? Questioned Madara. He closed his eyes and a second later opened them, revealing the purple and black ringed eyes. Next morning, Training Ground 7, 7 o'clock. Sasuke and Sakura walked into the clearing that was Training Ground 7, only to find their mysterious third teammate already there. Normally, this wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, except for the fact that there were more Narutos than they could ever hope to counter, and they were all doing something different. One group was floating, another group using chakra, another group were fighting while pinballing around trees, yet another group was reading from scrolls, and so on and so forth. Hey Dobi. What are you doing? Yelled Sasuke, but grew pissed off when none of the Narutos responded. I'm talking to you, yelled Sasuke as he walked over to one of the groups. Why aren't you answering, Sasuke-kun? Asked Sakura, though she refrained from yelling, or screeching, as other people called it, the combination of fear and her mother's instruction keeping her head level for now. Because he was asking for someone named Dobi, seeing as none of us are named that, including Boss, we didn't answer him. Stated a clone that didn't take his eyes of the book he was reading. Know your betters, Dobi. I'm an Uchiha, an elite, stated Sasuke. Once again, no idea who this Dobi is, but if you forgot what Boss said yesterday, you may be an Uchiha, but the Uchiha are not elite, not even close. Stated another clone. Are any of you the real Naruto, or is he somewhere else? Asked Sakura, more than a little mad that someone would talk down to her Sasuke-kun like that. Oh, boss is in that tree, stated another clone, pointing to a tree on the other side of the clearing. He didn't get much sleep last night, so he catching up. Word of advice, don't wake him up. And why wouldn't I? I can do whatever I want. Stated Sasuke smugly. He ran over to the tree and climbed up it with his hands and feet. The clones just shrugged and started dispelling. Sasuke looked around. He finally found Naruto, just as the clone said, sleeping on one of the bigger branches. Sasuke made his way up, until he was on the same branch as the blonde. Wake up, Dobi, you're going to fight me. Naruto didn't respond, so he did the logical thing for most Uchiha, he went to punch him in the face. Only problem was, even though Naruto was asleep, he still had danger senses that Anbu could only dream of. As Sasuke's fist was about an inch away from connecting, Naruto caught at his wrist, and broke it cleanly. Wrong move, Sasuke. And with that, Naruto pushed him back, sending him out of the tree and into the air, about 75 feet in the air, in the middle of the clearing. Sasuke was free falling. He had already righted himself so he could land in his feet, but it would still most likely break his legs. In a blur of movement, Sasuke was safely on the ground, Kakashi still holding onto him. Naruto. Get down here now, shouted Kakashi, rage filling his voice. Naruto appeared in a flash in front of Kakashi. What the hell were you thinking? Endangering a teammate. You broke his arm and then threw him out of the top of a tree. Fuck him, that idiot threw a punch at me while I was sleeping, so I reacted. This is the real world Hatake. You fuck up, you get hurt. And from what I've experienced, attacking someone who could kill you, literally with one finger, is a bad mistake. Stated Naruto with an even and emotionless tone, reminding both Kakashi and Sasuke of Itachi. Or would you rather I had just killed him, like the rest of the people dumb enough to try to hurt me while I slept? You're a disgrace to your father's memory. How would he feel if he knew you acted like this? Questioned Kakashi dangerously. Proud I became a real shinobi. One that isn't a fool, one that isn't weak, and one that isn't a coward. I fight for what I believe in, and if a few broken bones teaches someone that there are people out there that are better than them, all the better. Stated Naruto with the same, emotionless voice. Your father was a great man, something someone like you will never understand. Stated Kakashi, at least when my father killed himself, it was for the good of the village. Stated Naruto. Kakashi froze. That was a low blow, but it didn't piss him off, it saddened him. Father, Minato-sensei. Is he right? Could I have helped Obito more? Could I have helped Rin more? Are you going to start the test, or are you going to sit and mope that I hit a sore spot? Questioned Naruto. Kakashi knew that he had overreacted to the situation. After all, he had heard that Tsunade once punched Jiraiya out of a tree. And his own sensei had pushed him off a branch after he had gone off on Obits over something stupid. But no, he was questioning his mental fortitude. New plan. I will he fighting Naruto one-on-one. Should he beat me, I will take him, and him alone, as my apprentice. Sasuke and Sakura, you will be trying to get these bells off my belt. If you get these before Naruto beats me, you're my new team and Naruto will be sent to the academy. Should none of you achieve your objective, you will all be sent back. Stated Kakashi. This would allow the two a chance to pass, and still keep the bell test complete. You have 3 hours, starting now. Sakura and Sasuke shot out into the woods, leaving Naruto and Kakashi in the center of the clearing. Bad choice, Kakashi, I can wipe the floor with those two. And if you use your Sharingan, I'll use my borrowed power as well, then I'll mop the floor with you. I'm a elite Jonin, I don't need this eye to beat you. Let's see if you're as good as you say. Kakashi took off at full speed. Lesson 1. Taijutsu. Naruto effortlessly blocked a 6-strike combo and retaliated with a triple kick to Kakashi ribs. Kakashi got battered by the 3 kicks, but managed to catch one of them and pin Naruto's foot. Bad idea. With balance, speed and agility that was almost unheard of, Naruto spun and landed a kick to Kakashi's inner knee, one to his left shoulder and one to his head. Kakashi fought off the 3rd kick and caught Naruto's other leg, both feet now pinned under Kakashi's armpits. Naruto planted both palms on the ground, and with every ounce of power he had, picked Kakashi up off the ground, flipped him over and slammed his head into the ground. Kakashi quickly witches with a log before impact and the log shattered into a million little pieces. Guess that means we're onto the ninjutsu lesson, huh Kakashi? That was incredible. He used combos to move me into position, then used power and flexibility to surprise me and use my own defense against me, thought Kakashi, though his thoughts were stopped from going any farther when he heard a slight whistling sound to his left. Thunk thunk thunk. Poof, with Sasuke was fuming. Here was Naruto, roughly his age, who had the audacity to insult his family and now he was crude enough to actually be better than him. He was an Uchiha. The best of the best. And here, some nameless, clanless nobody, was picking apart one of the strongest ninja in the village like it was nothing. And he couldn't even pick up most of their movements. Dobi, you will give me your power, and then I'll kill you, and everyone else on my way to Danzo. He sure likes killing logs, doesn't he? I wonder what he has against the log, stated a voice behind Sasuke. Sasuke spun around, kunai in hand, only to see Naruto, or a clone of Naruto, seeing as the Naruto that had been fighting Kakashi still hadn't moved from his spot, right hand glowing green. Let me heal that arm of yours. And why are you helping me? Questioned Sasuke angrily. It was painfully obvious to the Uchiha that this blonde was strong enough to at least hold his own against a world-class Jonin, which pissed him off. Because 1, you're the son of the woman who saved my life more times than I can remember, 2, I was the one that broke your arm, and 3, I'm going to, back to the fight. Very well, lesson 2, ninjutsu. Stated Kakashi as he blurred through hand seals. Fire style. Fire dragon jutsu. Pray to path, whispered Naruto as he held a hand up and absorbed the blazing dragon. Bansho tenin, he whispered again, this time Kakashi started to be pulled to Naruto. But Kakashi wasn't a Jonin for nothing, and flashed through the 3 hand signs for his first original jutsu. Naruto's face stayed impassive, as he put his hand up and started swirling chakra into it. Let's see who's lightning stronger, Chidori. Lightning Rasengan. The 2 jutsu collided and began a brief power struggle. Keyword brief. About a half a second after the collision, lightning started sparking out of Naruto's hand, his Rasengan blowing past the Chidori, causing an explosion that sent Kakashi flying back. Naruto stayed perfectly still, thanks to his masterful control over gravity. Kakashi slowly got to his feet after sliding across the ground. He's beat me in taijutsu and ninjutsu. I'm okay at genjutsu, but I need Obito's eye to see through anything he throws at me. I just hope he was bluffing when he said he could use that chakra. Lesson 3, Genjutsu, stated Kakashi as he pulled his headband up, revealing his Sharingan to the world, or at least to Sasuke. Bad move Kakashi, you should have heeded my warning. Stated Naruto as almost instantly 4 tails shot out and a dark red cloak of chakra coated his entire body. Now you get to see what I can really do. With speed even Guy would have trouble with, Naruto raced toward Kakashi and planted a fist into his gut, folding him like a bad hand in poker, then sending him flying back through the forest. Though Naruto wasn't about to let that happen, in another burst of pure speed, Naruto caught Kakashi and pinned him against another tree. This is 4 tails, I can control up to 6, and I can go up to 8. Now, you still think you're stronger than me. Kakashi was terrified. This, Genin was easily his level, and he totally outclasses him when he uses Kyuubi chakra. While he himself needed the Sharingan to compete at his highest level, Naruto was already mid-Jonin in skill without Kyuubi chakra, and at the same age as he was when he made Jonin. Hey. Guess I was wrong, not really the first time, you are strong Naruto. And your mother and father would be proud. So am I. And with that, Kakashi passed out. Naruto reverted back to normal, some light burns on his skin from Kyuubi's chakra, though they were no more than one would get from being out in the sun too long. Huh, maybe I'm ready for another tail, wondered Naruto out loud as he carried Kakashi back to the clearing. 45 minutes later Kakashi slowly awoke, every inch of his body throbbing in pain. He looked up and saw that Sasuke and Sakura were both holding bells. Naruto was doing vertical push-ups. Well, looks like I'm taking Naruto on as an apprentice. I smiled Kakashi, baiting them into a failure, though he really wanted to fail the Uchiha. He may have been the last of Obito's family, but he was nothing like his dead teammate. Nope, you're taking them, they got the bells from you before I beat you. Stated Naruto as he continued his push-ups. Kakashi took a moment to marvel the young man's strength and balance. Sensei. I know I've messed up before, Obito, Rin. You and Kushina. But I'm going to make it up the best I can. By making Naruto the strongest he can possibly become. And when was this? Questioned Kakashi. When I punched you in the gut, I took them before you flew away, and tossed them to Sasuke. They achieved their objective before I did. Stated Naruto, even though he was having second thoughts about skipping out on Kakashi. He had reconciled with him, and even though there was really nothing he could teach him, he would be a good friend. Well then, congratulations Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto, you passed the bell test. Stated Kakashi, though he didn't show it, he was ecstatic that Naruto had figured out the bell test, even when the weight of the entire test was dropped on his shoulders. Both Sakura and Sasuke questioned. It was a teamwork test. Naruto did all the work, but he did it for the team, so you pass, though we'll be doing our share of team building exercises. Stated Kakashi. Sasuke just smirked smugly. He didn't even have to do any work, and he still passed. Then he remembered the two jutsu that Naruto used, the spinning ball and that weird cloak thing. Dobi, teach me those jutsu. Naruto didn't respond, instead he just walked toward Kakashi. This made Sasuke fume. Listen to me, damn it. I'm your better. You're going to teach me those techniques. Who are you talking to, Uchiha? My name still isn't Dobi, you're not my better, and there's no way in hell I'm teaching you any of my jutsu, not like you could learn them anyway. Stated Naruto. How dare you continue to talk down to me? I'm an Uchiha. I'm from a clan that can learn any jutsu just by watching someone do it, and you will teach it to me, or else. Threatened Sasuke. I'm not talking down to you, I'm talking to you at the level you deserve. And even if you had the Sharingan, which it's obvious that you don't, you couldn't copy my jutsu anyway. They're pure elemental and shape manipulation, no hand signs for you to copy, and I only used 2 jutsu against Kakashi. And just what could you ever do to me? Stated Naruto. Impossible. The Sharingan can copy any jutsu. And you used 3. The swirling ball, that wired absorption and that red cloak thing that increases your speed and power, shouted Sasuke. No one had talked down to him other than Itachi. Naruto looked dumbfounded. Hadn't this kid heard of a Jinchuriki before? Hell, he's the son of Naruto's one-time #1 enemy, he should know that he held Kyuubi. Fuck off Uchiha, I'm not teaching you Rasengan, it's impossible for you to use the absorption jutsu, or any other jutsu I know, and you can't even use the other jutsu. Fine. I'll get someone else to teach me. And I'm going to make your life a living hell until you give me what I want. Stated Sasuke, who then stormed away, planning on going to the elders. They usually gave him what he wanted, he could easily get a jutsu or 2. Sakura decided to follow the brooding Uchiha, she was worried that he might do something he would regret. The only people in the world that know Rasengan is me and Pervy Sage. Unless you do Kakashi. Kakashi nodded his head. You teach him the Rasengan or any other of my father techniques, and I'll kill you, and him. You got that? Wouldn't dream of it. Besides, he's nothing like what I had hoped. I just hope that the council doesn't force you to teach him the jutsu you finished. Stated Kakashi with noticeable concern in his voice. They won't. I own half this village, and the only idiots that even like the kid are New Jonin and lower, and I can take care of them. You didn't even get to see my Genjutsu. Smiled Naruto as he walked out of the training ground, motioning Kakashi to follow him. Just who was your last sensei? Questioned Kakashi. Naruto just grinned, pulled out a piece of Pocky and turned back towards his destination, eating the chocolatey goodness. Chapter 4. The Immortal Phoenix. What do you mean you won't give me those jutsu? I've always gotten what I wanted. Why can't I have 3 jutsu? Challenged an irate Sasuke. He had been arguing for the last 5 minutes and they still wouldn't give him a straight answer. Well, the Rasengan is a Kage classified technique, and the only one alive that could teach it is Jiraiya. This absorption jutsu, we have absolutely no ninjutsu like that. The only people known that could absorb jutsu like that were the Uzumaki, and no one knows how they did it. Then this red cloak that boosted speed and strength. The only thing I could think of is, stated Homura. Sasuke had come to him, complaining that he was being held back. That is not a jutsu. Come with me Sasuke, this will help you understand. 35 minutes later, and just why am I here again? If I remember correctly, this is the second time we've been called to meet this week. Questioned Hiashi. Not that he minded. In fact, he loved these meetings. He usually gets what he wants. Or just gets to flex his political muscle, which was the only thing he took any pride in these days, as his oldest daughter was weak, and Hanabi was still too much like his dead wife, but he would get her away from that soon enough. Yes, and why is the civilian council missing? Usually when they're not here something individual related has arisen. Stated Chuza. Right you are, Chuza. My old teammate has bought up something that I believe should be shared with all of you at this table. Stated Sarutobi. Come on in Naruto. Everyone turned towards the door, awaiting the entrance of the blonde. It wasn't surprising to any of the clan heads that Naruto was the cause of the meeting. Sasuke, who was sitting in a guest chair on the abandoned civilian side, stared at the door as if the very wooden fibers were holding back what was, rightfully his. Man, he sure likes taking his time, said a voice near the back of the room. Most agreed until they actually turned around, only to see said blonde staring intently at the door. Okay, now he's just being a dick. Naruto-san, how exactly did you get in here? My insects informed me that you were not in the room when we started, and there was no chakra flare that would insight and transportation jutsu. Also, I was wondering if I could get glasses like you gave my son. Questioned Shibi. Most of the room was stunned that Naruto had gotten in unnoticed, though everyone was surprised by just how many words came out of Shibi's mouth. Like most of his clan, he was quiet and logical. In that order, I teleported in. I used my own version of the Hiraishin Jutsu, which is basically the Hiraishin without a seal or a. And what color would you like? I have most of them, except the color that I wear and that Shino has. The entire room gasped. A 13-year-old can use the Hiraishin. And without the kunai. Black frames? Questioned Shibi. Naruto pulled out the scroll and unsealed a pair of black-framed sunglasses and handed them to Shibi. Naruto then rolled up the scroll and placed it back in his vest. Now that fashion time is over, may we please get to the point of this meeting? Questioned Hiashi, clear disdain in his voice for what everyone else in the room thought was for wasting his time. May I ask Uzumaki, just how does that work? Shunshin uses chakra to boost speed to a high degree, and from what I've gathered, Hiraishin is a space-time jutsu. Quite simple really. The body adapts to certain jutsu over time. Like how some Uchiha could use B-rank fire jutsu with no hand seals, or how Tobirama-sama could do the water dragon with only the dragon hand sign instead of the 40 to 45 hand signs most require. Now all of you know about my condition, that gives me healing capabilities, well that helps me adapt to jutsu quicker. There was a time when I relied almost solely on the Hiraishin, and it allowed my body to adapt to it. Now, all I need to do is flood the area with my chakra and I can transport almost anywhere. Though for any distance more than about 50 feet, I still need the seal. Stated Naruto. Maybe a year ago it was 50 feet, but they don't need to know that. Amazing. To think that jutsu could be any deadlier than when Minato used it, stated Kaharu. The old woman never did like the blonde-haired man much, though it wasn't for lack of trying, they just never saw eye to eye. She had just become too cold and unforgiving in her old age, mostly from the loss of her lover, and then her son not long ago, leaving her granddaughter Moegi as the only thing left in her world that held any true value to her. Now that that's settled, may I ask why I've been called here? I was working on a new jutsu, and I'd like to get back to it. Stated Naruto. Most of the council was once again surprised. With a lightning variant to the Rasengan and Hiraishin, Naruto was already near his father's moveset, and he was working on even more jutsu. Ah yes, Homura, questioned Sarutobi. Ahem. It has come to my attention that Naruto-sama. Naruto glared at the old man. Naruto-san. Naruto nodded. Has several very high rank and unknown jutsu in his arsenal, including an elemental Rasengan and some form of jutsu that can absorb other jutsu. Also, it seems he can use that chakra, stated Homura. Is this true? Can you use its chakra? And if so, are there any ill effects or any chance that the seal is breaking? Asked Sum. She knew better than to be anything less than respectful to the blonde team. After all, he screamed alpha, and even being a high Jonin level in her own right, she could tell that this teen could defeat her like child's play. Yes, I've been trained to use it. I can use up to 6 tails and stay in control, Though at that level of Biju chakra I can't use jutsu, as I have not used that chakra enough to have anything more than genin level control. If it's a situation where I'm alone behind enemy lines, I can go to 8 tails, but I don't have control at that amount of power. Stated Naruto as he took the Namikaze seat and put his feet up on the Uzumaki seat, which were at the end of the table, facing the other council members. Is the tail amount proportionate to the beast? Questioned Shikaku, not bothering to lift his head from his arms. No, but as I've assessed myself at around low to mid jonin when relaying on my own skills, when I use 1 tail I shoot to mid to high jonin, at 3 tails I'm around low kage and at 6 tails I'm on par with Gigi in theory except for the fact I would be all tie or kenjutsu at that point, and in a non-related incident, I found out that I can kill Orochimaru at 4, which is also how many I used in my genin test versus Kakashi. Stated Naruto. Everyone in the room other than Sasuke gasped, while Sasuke continued to seethe. Wait. You said you used 4 tails versus Kakashi, yet no one outside of your training ground felt it. Why? Questioned Tsun. Easy. I have mastered the 4-tail state, to the point I don't even transform anymore. Along with this total control, I can block off Kyuubi's hatred and malice if I want, which I did at the training ground. If I hadn't, half of Konoha would have been there in minutes looking for a fight. How do you know that you can kill Orochimaru? He is said to be the strongest Sannin. Questioned Inoichi. He was never a big Naruto fan, he had once used the mind-body swap on him when he was younger to examine his mental health. And he had almost lost his life when Naruto's very mind attacked him. Ever since then he had been wary of the boy. Ha! Jiraiya is by far the strongest, I should know, he's my godfather and has taught me much. Stated Naruto, he hated it when his friends and family were bad-mouthed. As for Orochimaru, I've put him in a near-death state before, only for him to be rescued by his teammate. I was attacked by him and his partner Sasori of the Red Sand about a year ago, right after I reached my 5th tail state and could somewhat control it. I almost killed the snake bastard, but Sasori saved him. You fought off Orochimaru and Sasori of the Red Sand alone. And survived. I don't believe you. Stated Hiashi. He refused to believe a 13-year-old had the type of power. I wasn't alone, I was with my sensei, who was the reason we were attacked in the first place. And as to who my sensei is, it is classified information until he or she gets back to the village. Stated Naruto. Any other questions? What's this absorption jutsu? Is it anything like the legendary Uzumaki jutsu, or is it something else? Questioned Sarutobi, though he already knew the answer, as Naruto had told him, he needed to put on a show. Sorry old man, clan secret. Sasuke had finally had enough, and exploded. How come you have all these powerful jutsu? Why were you given advanced training, when I wasn't? Why is Jiraiya your godfather when he could be mine? What chakra are you relying on and why don't I have it? What makes you think you're better than the Uchiha? Now everyone in the room was staring at Sasuke with alarm. This was the boy everyone believed to be the golden child. He was just a spoiled brat. Naruto, however, was pissed. Everything you're about to hear, Sasuke, and everyone in this room, is an S-ranked secret. Should any of you spread this, I will kill you, and every person you told. Understood? Stated Naruto in an unerringly calm, yet rage-filled voice. Everyone nodded, including Sasuke. After all, even if he did tell someone, he was an Uchiha, so he wouldn't get in trouble anyways, or so he thought. I was born October 10th, and I was part of the reason that Kyuubi attacked. My mother Kushina Uzumaki held Kyuubi before me, and during my birth, there was an incident, causing Kyuubi to be released and my mother to die. My father, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, finally defeated the beast, but not by killing it, he sealed it into me, making me the 3rd Uzumaki to hold the 9-tailed fox. Before they died, my parents left a will, stating that I was to gain everything that they both owned, meaning all the Uzumaki assets, all the Namikaze land, and because Tsunade, my godmother, had left the village, control of the Senju estate, as my mother had been adopted by Mito Uzumaki Senju, before my mother took over for Mito Ba-chan as the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Jiraiya was made my godfather by my father, seeing as he was his sensei, and was also the one to name me. I hold the Kyuubi because only an Uzumaki can hold the 8 or 9-tailed beast. There is a clan in Kumo that with the help of a special seal can hold the 8 tails, but that's about it. Mito-sama and Kushina-sama were Jinchuriki, sputtered out Chusa. Why didn't we know this? The same reason that no one of my generation knows I hold Kyuubi. The host of the Kyuubi has been guarded by a set of laws ever since Mito was made the first ever Jinchuriki, laws that are only a year younger than this village. The only reason anyone knows about my being a Jinchuriki is because all the clan heads were informed the night of my birth, and the Uchiha spread the word to get back at my father, who had beat out not only Orochimaru, but Hieishi Hyuga and more importantly Fugaku Uchiha for the title of 4th Hokage. Ever since that day, the Uchiha have had a contract out on my head. Stated Naruto. Most of the council had very little trouble believing this, as the Uchiha had always seen anyone stronger than them to be a threat, and it seems Sasuke is no exception. I was taken out of the village about a week before the Uchiha massacre, because Fugaku Uchiha had almost managed to kill me. I was removed for my own protection, and a week later, when Danzo realized I couldn't be a personal weapon anymore, something he was rather adamant about, due to the fact I was no longer in the village and it was unknown where I was, he killed off the Uchiha as payback for ruining his plans. Stated Naruto. This time, most everyone believed what he had said. After all, Danzo was linked to many kidnappings and other inhumane acts, so you see Sasuke, I am better than you. I'm the heir to 3 clans, I hold somewhere between 25 to 50% of the land and wealth of Konoha, as well as being the son of not only Kushina Uzumaki, an S-class ninja, but also Minato Namikaze, the only man ever besides the Sandaime Raikage and Hashirama Senju to gain an SS-class rank. I'm better than you in every way, and I'll never give you any of my jutsu. Stated Naruto, defiance clear in his voice. Sasuke seethed once again, but was smarter than to try anything. After all, if even half the stuff he said was true, then he was much more important than him as an individual, not the whole clan, but more important than him. After all, Naruto was the son of 2 Kage-level ninja, and he was for sure stronger than him. For now. Sasuke got up without a word and left the room. I'll go to every Jonin in the village and ask for training. And I'll read every high-ranked scroll in the Uchiha library. I'll become stronger than you Naruto, and then, I'll kill you and everyone else that has ever held me back. Then I'll kill Danzo and rebuild the Uchiha clan and make it better than everyone else by taking over all 3 of your clans. As the doors closed, Naruto spoke up again. Now that the spoiled little brat is gone, there's something I want to give all the clan heads. 2 months later Team 7 had been taking 1D rank a day for almost 2 months now. At first Sasuke had hated them, until Naruto stated that the Uchiha should quit complaining, use them for training, whether lifting heavy objects to build strength, painting as fast yet cleanly to work on speed and control, picking weeds as fast as you see them to work on reflexes, or even catching the damn cat to work on cardio and speed. Which is what they had just got done doing, catching the cat for the 17th time in their young ninja careers. Sasuke hated to admit it, but the blonde was right. As soon as he had started using every mission as some form of training, he had started growing stronger, faster, quicker and more controlled at an impressive rate. And as a hidden benefit, the teamwork of Team 7 had skyrocketed, going from almost non-existent to spotless over the last 2 months. Team 7, returning Tora. Stated Kakashi lazily. He had been thinking that he would get AC rank next. Even Sakura was starting to get fed up with D ranks, and their teamwork was easily high enough. Wow, new record. Again. Team 7 now owns the top 10 spots on the Tora board. Even Kakashi's team hadn't had all the top 10 at once. You should be very proud of yourselves, stated Sarutobi, though he knew as well as anyone that the team was a one-man show, and if it were anyone but Team 7 or the Hokage, they would say that Sasuke was the cause of the records, though everyone important knew it was Naruto. Old man, how old is that cat? Pervy Sage told me it was his first mission, and that was almost 40 years ago. Stated Naruto, there have actually been several Toras, they all seem to have the same tendency to escape the Fire Daimo's wife. Stated Sarutobi with a chuckle. Hokage-sama, I would like to request AC rank for my team, I feel that they're more than ready. Stated Kakashi lazily. Iruka's eyes widened, but he knew better. After all, Sasuke was the rookie of the year, and he knew from personal experience that Naruto could handle a Jonin. After all, he did kill Aoi. Alright, you will be guarding a bridge builder and the bridge he is building should take about 2 weeks to a month. Come on in, Tazuna. A rather fat, drunken man had come in from the waiting room. The smell of sake and oak filled the room. These are the brats that are supposed to be guarding me. I'm the super bridge builder Tazuna. You three look like you couldn't even beat a paper bag, especially the blonde. Stated Tazuna, as he took a swig of his sake, only to realize it was no longer in his hand. He looked up to see Naruto holding the jug. You're drunk, it's a violation of your contract. We need to wait until you are sober to start this mission, otherwise you will be a hindrance to the mission. We will leave tomorrow morning at the earliest. What do you think, Kakashi? Questioned Naruto, surprising everyone in the room with his authoritative tone. Ma, we'll leave from the east gate at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Until then, you're free to do whatever, but be in condition to start the mission tomorrow. Stated Kakashi as he gave the blonde a look that told him to stay and chat. After everyone other than Naruto, Iruka, Sarutobi and Kakashi left, Naruto spoke up. What do you need, Kakashi? Do you think that you're capable of leading this team? Questioned Kakashi intently. Yes, I have the strength and I can keep a calm head during stressful times. Stated Naruto. Good, then you are now my team captain. Should I ever be inactive, you will be the leader of this squad and you will have input on every major issue. See you at the gate tomorrow. Stated Kakashi with an eye smile, right before proofing away. Well then, I guess I'll see y'all later, old man, Iruka. Next day, wrote to Wave, so Tazuna-san, how come you hired Leaf Shinobi? Doesn't Wave have ninja? Asked Sakura, trying to break the silence that had permeated the mission so far. To everyone's surprise, it was Naruto who answered. Wave no longer has ninja. Up until the beginning of the Second Great Shinobi War, Wave had a form of agreement with a nearby island nation that was said to be just as strong, if not stronger than any of the elemental nations. They were wiped out by a joint attack by Kiri, Kumo, Grass, Rice and Iwa. It was a battle that lasted almost 7 days, and cost the 5 countries that attacked a huge portion of their ninja, so many that Kiri, Grass and Rice bowed out of the war. Hell, the losses in Rice were so bad that they no longer even have a ninja program. Through the village was wiped out, and almost every one of its people killed, the rest scattered across the world. I know 3 or 4 ended up in Konoha, at least 1 in Kumo and the rest went to Kiri or AIM. Ever since then, Wave has relied in Konoha or Kiri. Spot on. How do you know all that? Almost all of the world has forgotten Uchiha, asked Tazuna, eyeing the genin. If the young blonde knew that much, he might know of the trouble in Wave. My mother was one of the survivors of the attack, and while she was young, she wrote it all down in a scroll. I found the scroll one day, read it, and now I know what happened to my clan and my former village. Stated Naruto in a sad voice. He cringed when Sakura started to speak. You're lying. If that happened, we would have learned about it in the academy, plus you don't even have a last name. How could you be from a clan? Questioned Sakura, earning a groan from Naruto, Kakashi and strangely enough, Sasuke. Tazuna started fearing for his life. If she was that ignorant, she could easily lead to his death. The reason it isn't in Konoha history books is because 15 years ago, the civilian council had it removed after an incident involving a member of the civilian side trying to get the 4th Hokage to marry her. When he refused, and instead started dating a former member of that village, the civilian called in all her favors to have the clan and their village erased from Konoha history. Stated Kakashi. How do you know that place even existed in the first place? Questioned Sakura. She was never wrong in the academy, and every time she was proven wrong now she refused to believe it. Simple. The 4th was my sensei and like a father to me after mine passed. While he dated her, she was like a mother to me, and she showed me everything about the old country. I even went there with sensei and her before the Third Great War broke out. Stated Kakashi. Regite, I'll just ask my mom when I get home, she's on the council, she would know if that really happened. Stated Sakura smugly. I'm sure she would know, seeing as it was her that caused my clan's name and village to be forgotten. Stated Naruto with hatred clear in his voice, getting a shocked, then angry look from Sakura. Why would my mom do that, huh? You're all just lying because you can't handle the fact that you're wrong. Stated Sakura. Naruto was about to go ballistic on the pink-haired bitch, only to notice the puddle they just passed start to ripple, before 2 masked men, clothed in black robes with a metal gauntlet on opposing hands appeared and charged at Kakashi. Naruto shoved Sakura out of the way, before charging up a normal Rasengan in his hand and flashing away, right as Kakashi was torn into pieces by the masked men. "One down," the one on the right said, his voice somewhat distorted by the mask he was wearing. "3 to go, Rasengan," shouted Naruto as he flashed behind the second masked man and shoved the swirling ball of death into the back of the man's skull, effectively exploding the mon's head in an instant, covering the surrounding area with blood and bits of brain. "Brother. You'll pay for that. Screw the old man, I'm going to kill you," shouted the still-living masked man, only for Naruto to once again flash out of sight and reappear behind the black-cloaked ninja. One hand shot out and grabbed the man by the neck, the other hand resting atop his head. Naruto whispered something and pulled what looked like a thin, smoky white, translucent body out of the man. It was the most sickening sight any of the people present had ever seen. After a moment, Naruto's eyes hardened. "You both deserve to die, you're horrible human beings," stated Naruto, who then looked to the bridge builder. "You can come out now, Kakashi, there's something you have to know about this mission. It's no longer AC rank," stated Naruto. Almost instantly, Kakashi was next to Naruto, picking chunks of skull and brain out of his vest and hair. "Impressive, Naruto, though you really didn't need to do that," says the man who stabs his hand through people's hearts, stated Naruto, who then turned his head back to Tazuna. "You lied, old man, you have ninja after your life. This is B rank, maybe even a rank. This team is not ready for that." Anything to say for yourself, Tazuna?" asked Kakashi. "Wave has been ruled by a tyrant for years now. I've lost my son-in-law, most of my land, and my village is only a few months from being so in debt to that short prick that we lose all our homes. The only hope for the village is to finish the bridge and break Gato's hold on us," stated Tazuna as he turned to head to Wave. "I'll be on my way." "Alright then, let's go," stated Naruto as he started to move away, Sakura and Sasuke moving towards Konoha, Naruto and Kakashi falling in step with the portly bridge builder. "You're helping me. Why?" asked the shocked Tazuna. Other than Konoha, Wave was the only nation to be anything other than hostile towards Uchiha. "I won't let an ally fall to tyrant over something as simple as money. If need be, I'll pay for this mission and the bridge costs myself," stated Naruto as he pulled out a storage scroll. This scroll holds what's left of the bounty on the Diamond of Iwa, Hyo Rakuto. There's about 4 million Ryo left in it. This will be going to this mission and your bridge. "You're the one that killed the Diamond of Iwa?" questioned a stunned Kakashi. "He was Iwa's version of me. And only a little less strong. He was a rank easy. Yeah, Iwa found out about me, sent him and a couple of Chunin after me. I killed them, got the bounties, and used the money for my spending cash," stated Naruto. It was right around now that Sasuke and Sakura realized that they were walking in the opposite direction of their sensei and teammate. 8 hours later, the group was rather shocked that the old man could keep the pace they had set for almost 10 hours. They had thought it would take at least 2 days to get to Wave Country, instead they were now nearing shore after a short boat ride. With Kakashi walking in front of the boat and Naruto behind it, they were perfectly protected against any threat. "Hey old man. The mist always this thick?" whispered Naruto, being careful not to cause any more noise than was needed. Something his two teammates didn't pick up on. "Yay, it's usually a little less than this, but it's been worse," answered Tazuna. "Land approaching, Tazuna. I'll get you to the shore, but I'm gone the second you get off the boat," stated a man slightly older than the bridge builder, though not as portly. "Okay, when we hit land, we'll use the diamond formation, me in back, Naruto lead, Sasuke on left, Sakura on right. Naruto, you're captain if I go down," stated Kakashi. "Why isn't Sasuke-kun captain? He's smarter and stronger than Naruto Baka," stated Sakura, earning an explosive tag slapped over her mouth. "Shut up. This is a covert assignment until we reach Tazuna's home. Yell again and I'll use something a lot less subtle than an explosive tag. I'm captain because I am smarter, stronger, faster, a better leader, and most importantly, I'm not a stuck-up emo who has both an inferiority complex and a superiority complex. You will listen and obey everything that Kakashi or I say, and if either of you don't, you'll be written up for insubordination," stated Naruto quietly yet harshly. 15 minutes later, the group had been walking for about 10 minutes and were now about 30 minutes from Tazuna's home. Naruto saw a tiny movement in a bush on the left side, or as he called it, the open side, as Sakura had only proved his theory that the academy had failed his generation. Wind style. Airblade, thought Naruto as he shot a thin, almost invisible blade into the bush, only for a portion of the bush to be lopped off and a frightened rabbit to freeze and stare at Naruto. It's summer, and that rabbit has white fur. Get down! Yelled Kakashi as he tackled Tazuna and Sasuke, out of instinct of course, tackled Sakura. A giant blade made its way to the group at about neck height. The group looked on in horror as Naruto stared at the blade as it came twirling towards him, only for his left hand to shoot up and grab the giant blade out of the air. All in one motion, Naruto plucked the blade from the air, spun around on his heels, and whipped the blade at the tree behind the group, almost hitting the man that had moved to the tree. Said man grabbed the handle and blurred back in front of the group. Impressive brat. Maybe you can break the mold and survive this encounter. Unfortunately, your opponent is me, and I feel like killing some wannabe ninja right now. Stated Zabuza, leaking a good amount of killing intent, freezing Sasuke and Sakura. Zabuza Momochi, a class missing nin from Kiri, wanted for an assassination attempt on the Yondaime Mizukage. Alias, Demon of the Mist. Affiliation. Former member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, second behind Kisame Hoshigaki. All-around fighter with Jonin level nin, Gen, and Taijutsu. Best with his sword, the head cleaver. Listed off Naruto, gaining an odd expression from Sakura and Sasuke, and a look of wonder from Zabuza and Kakashi. Very impressive brat. You have the reflexes and intelligence for me to consider you a ninja. But can you handle the pressure? Suddenly, it felt like hundreds of pounds of pressure was pressing down on them. Well, to Sasuke and Sakura it felt like that, to Kakashi, it felt like a slightly damp blanket was thrown over him, and to Naruto. Well, Naruto was cleaning his fingernails with a kunai. This brat's not affected at all. How is that possible? Kakashi, you wanna take this one? I think I need a new coat of fingernail paint, I got some chips in this coat. Stated Naruto with apparent boredom in his voice, though Kakashi noticed the discreet hand signs he was making. I want to hide me skill in case someone else is watching. I'll guard the old man and you handle Zabuza, I'll jump in if need be. Kakashi just smiled and nodded toward the blonde, before he turned back to Zabuza, and unleashed his killer intent, overpowering Zabuza's. Sasuke was panicking. This is the intensity of Jonin battle. It feels like if I make even the slightest move I'll be killed. I'd rather end it myself and get it over with, thought Sasuke as he bought the kunai he was holding up to his throat. I'm surprised Uchiha. For someone so hell-bent on killing Danzo, you sure are having trouble handling a Jonin-level battle, stated Naruto. Though blunt, it did the trick, and Sasuke's attention shifted from the fight to Naruto, saving his life. The brat is smart, shifting his teammate attention to something less dangerous to calm his nerves, effectively increasing his usefulness, thought Zabuza. You really are Sensei's son Naruto. Though you act more like your mother, sweat dropped Kakashi. While I'd love to see the rest of this pathetic squad of so-called ninja. Kurigakur Jutsu, yelled out Zabuza. In seconds, a thick mist flooded the area. Kakashi instantly lifted his headband, showing his Sharingan. Meanwhile, Naruto had pulled his sunglasses up over his headband, showing his blue Rinnegan, though no one noticed it. So Sharingan Kakashi finally shows his namesake. I feel honored that you feel I'm big enough a threat to show your trump card so early. Suddenly, Zabuza was between Sakura and Tazuna, swinging his massive blade towards the old man. His blade was suddenly stopped, a loud, metallic ring sounding through the area. Zabuza looked down to see something that scared the shit out of him, the only sword known to be superior than all the swords of the Seven Swords of the Mist. The immortal phoenix. A 6-foot-long blade with another foot for the handle, almost a foot and a half wide, and an almost divine shade of blood red mixed with silver to give it the appearance that it's lit aflame. There were ribbings on the bottom part of the blade, used for various techniques and also for blocking and locking enemy swords in place. Wiki, Guardian _Bahu Wiki, Wicked Breaking _Flamberge _Bahu, How do you have that sword? Shouted Zabuza, fear evident in his voice. Only the Uzumaki have ever held that sword. Legend says that you must gain 100 years of wisdom before you can even be considered to wield that sword. That is a secret, stated Naruto. Kakashi and Tazuna were shocked. They both knew of that sword. Kakashi because of his friendship with the sword couple Hayate and Yugao. If anyone even mentioned the words legendary and sword in the same sentence, the couple would go off on a tangent about the 3 immortal sword or the 7 swords of the mist or another handful of well-known blades. Tazuna knew of the sword because that sword was the subject of one of his favorite bedtime stories growing up. Though Sasuke was impressed by the name and appearance of the sword, he did not know the legend, and therefore didn't understand what was so great about the 6-foot-long blade. Sakura on the other hand, was getting pissed that these people kept saying things about this made-up Uzumaki clan. They don't exist. If they ever did, we would have learned about them in the academy. And what's so important about this sword? It's big, but so is Zabuza's. It doesn't matter. Even with the immortal phoenix, you're years away from matching my skill and experience, stated Zabuza as he jumped away from the Konoha group and readied himself for what was to come, though on the inside he wasn't faring much better. That Gaki just blocked my attack with one hand, while holding up the immortal phoenix. He's strong, and I barely caught him move, let alone unseal the sword and then move. This is bad, I can feel the power radiating off the blonde, and Kakashi is at my level, maybe above it. I'm going to need help for this job, but first I have to thin out their numbers. Kakashi, you take the eyebrow-less wonder, I'll guard Tazuna, and be careful, there is some watching us, but I can't tell if it's good or bad, stated Naruto. Kakashi nodded. He didn't like the fact he was just ordered by a genin, though he knew that Naruto was no ordinary genin, and after all, he was Minato's real son, and something of a brother to Kakashi. Zabuza and Kakashi moved at the same time, a taijutsu kenjutsu fight ensuing. Every slash was blocked by Kakashi and every hit was blocked by Zabuza. The back and forth ending when Kakashi got careless and was forced to retreat as Zabuza wound up for another big slice. Kakashi landed on the water, and immediately knew it was a mistake. Water style, water prison jutsu. Shit, I was careless. Naruto. Take Tazuna, Sasuke and Sakura and get away from here, shouted Kakashi, though Naruto apparently didn't hear him, as Naruto made 10 shadow clones to guard the group and started to slowly move towards Zabuza. Think you can take me on? I'm an A-rank ninja. I killed hundreds before I was 10. You're nothing to me, brat, even with that sword, shouted Zabuza, sounding about 100 times more confident than he felt. Naruto just continued to walk slowly towards Zabuza and Kakashi, not even breaking stride as he went from land to water. What's the matter, Gaki? Tired of living? Shouted Zabuza. Naruto just smirked, tilted his head slightly and kept pace. I'm not tired of living, but I can tell that you are, so I'm going to help you out in your endeavor. Then, as soon as the last word left his mouth, Naruto flashed away. Chapter 5. Mysterious Naruto appeared behind Zabuza in a flash and swung his sword at the monk's back, only for Zabuza to block it, holding his own sword with his free hand. Of course, this is exactly what Naruto wanted, and he used his nearly unmatched flexibility to kick the masked man in the throat, forcing him to drop the water prison holding Kakashi, but not before Zabuza managed to deliver a slash to the right thigh of the copy nin. Shit, Kakashi cursed. He had once again been careless, and had gotten caught flat-footed, resulting in the gash in his leg. It was far from lethal, as Zabuza had missed any arteries, though it would be impossible for Kakashi to move at any high rate of speed for a long time. Kakashi, get by Tazuna, you're in no shape to fight him. I'll handle this, stated Naruto as he stood facing Zabuza, sword in one hand, the other free. Still too overconfident, kid, there's no way you can beat the demon of the mist. Especially in a sword fight, shouted Zabuza, his gravel-like voice sure of his victory. Dude, do you have an inside voice? What's with all the shouting? Questioned Naruto. And believe me, you're no demon, I've met more than enough of them to know that you're just a baby comparing itself to giants. Zabuza was stunned, this kid had balls. Wow, Gaki, with balls like that, you'll make a girl very happy one day. If you live that long. Zabuza charged forward, sword horizontal to the ground, ready to slash. Naruto charged forward as well, still holding the blade behind him. Zabuza faked a horizontal slash and sent a vertical chop at the blonde. Naruto countered by whipping his own blade around to Zabuza's chest with a huge arching swing while sidestepping the chop, forcing Zabuza to twist his body around and use the flat of his blade to block the blonde's slash. The two swordsmen locked into a test of strength, only for the ripped blonde to win the battle by using both hands, thus using his own huge muscle mass to overpower the slightly less ripped Zabuza. What the hell is this kid? I've never met or even heard of a kid, not even 16, who has more pure strength than me. Only Kisame could ever hold his own against me, and this kid is doing it with no problem at all. Panicked Zabuza as he broke away from Naruto and studied his opponent. He's strong, though not as strong as when we fought that fish freak. He's quick too, and his reflexes are just as good as Kakashi's. I don't want to use Kyuubi's chakra because I'm becoming reliant on it, just like the Rinnegan. I can't use that yet, and I'm still not good enough with my sword to beat him with straight Genjutsu. Let's try ninjutsu. Naruto jumped back to make some distance and stared at his opponent. You like that sword a lot. But I bet that you rely on it, and I'm willing to bet my sword that you can't beat me in a ninjutsu battle. Stated Naruto, trying to goad the man into taking the bait. Well, I'll just have to take that offer, retorted Zabuza as he flashed through hand seals, water style, water collision wave. Naruto watched as the huge wave crashed towards him. He was truly impressed by the mastery of the jutsu needed for a wave this big and the pure chakra capacity needed. Hiraishin thought Naruto as he flashed in front of Zabuza, lightning style, body shock impulse. Zabuza barely had time to bring his sword in front of him to try and block his attack, only to be painfully shocked as the electric field released from the blonde's torso crossed through the blade and into his arm and chest. Any lightning that got past the blade made contact with his other arm, his right leg and his right abdomen. Zabuza was flung back from the force of the jutsu and was slammed into a tree, both arms and his whole right side twitching extremely painfully from the lightning chakra forced into him. What are YYU? Questioned Zabuza quietly as he watched the blonde striding towards him, his body spasming painfully. This kid is the real demon. Hurry it up, Haku. Your death, stated Naruto as he moved towards Zabuza, wind chakra swirling in his hand. Just as Naruto was about to stab his hand into Zabuza's chest, Tsusenban embedded into the masked man's neck. Thank you for weakening him for me. I have been following this man for years now and I couldn't stand seeing someone else killing him. Stated a rather short hunter nin. Naruto noticed that the long hair was almost reflective with its level of shine. Odd for a Kiri nin to use Senban. Would you like me to remove his head? Questioned Naruto. No, I will handle that. Stated the hunter nin, starting to sweat. Nonsense, I can tell you're young as well as I am, if I had to guess. 13. No, 14. Plus you don't have a blade that can make that kind of cut. I'd be happy to behead him for you. As he lifted his blade to Zabuza's throat. In a flash of movement, the hunter nin was next to Zabuza, then they both disappeared. Kakashi, we have a problem. Naruto turned around to see Kakashi lying on the ground, out cold. Alright, after I heal Kakashi, we're going to Tazuna's house. Next day, wake up Kakashi, report findings, go train. That will work, thought Naruto out loud, forcing everyone at the table to look at him funny. Sorry, force of habit, it was part of my mental training to report everything I thought, I still do it sometimes. Okay, what did you mean when you said all that? Asked Sakura, who really couldn't care less, but her academic side, if you can call it that, needed to know everything. Well, after I disinfected Kakashi's leg and healed it, I gave him some painkillers, which should wear off soon. I'll wait and tell you both when I confirm it. And if he's out of commission, I'll be training you. Stated Naruto. Sakura scoffed mentally at the prospect of being trained by the Dobi. Sasuke instantly perked up. The Dobi, no matter how much he hated to even think it, was better than him in every way. Any training from him would boost his power. And if the way he handled Zabuza was any indication, the blonde could be his ticket to power. Sakura on the other hand, why should we listen to your training? Sasuke-kun is much better than you. Because I'm team captain and the leader while the scarecrow is out. Upstairs, oh man, I must be getting rusty. I should have never quit Anbu. Yay, you're rusty alright. Kakashi spun around to see Naruto looking out the window, they're still eating. Before they get here, did you notice that the hunter nin wasn't as they appeared? Yes, the hunter nin is obviously working with Zabuza. Stated Kakashi. The Sharingan can see chakra correct? Questioned Naruto, only when the opponent uses a jutsu. Why? Responded Kakashi. What element would spawn from blue and white chakra? Questioned Naruto, were the colors mixing? Kakashi asked seriously. Yay, ice manipulation. Kakashi said bluntly. He knew what it took to form most sub-elements because of his old friend Tenzo. Shit. At least it will be one of us up against the ice user. Hopefully Gato can't find anyone as strong as Zabuza, stated Naruto. Naruto. Why didn't you use Kyuubi chakra or your eyes at all during the fight? Well, if you really want to know, ninja that use only one or two aspects of their arsenal have nothing to fall back on. The Kyuubi chakra I use is not my own, not yet anyway. And the Rinnegan is only in my possession because of a fluke. In short, I'd rather use my own skills than ones that were given to me. I don't feel I've earned either power yet, so I refrain from using them until all my other skills are to my satisfaction. Stated Naruto with conviction. Kakashi was surprised by the young boy's words, but even more surprised when he remembered hearing Minato something similar about the Hiraishin, and when he started to learn Sage Mode. It's too bad that his sensei never finished his training. Living room, what do you mean Zabuza's alive? Screamed Sakura. Thankfully it wasn't a shriek. That Hunter Nin was a fake. No Kiri Hunter Nin would move a body after the target's confirmed dead, and it's easy to fake a kill with Senbon. There's a cluster of nerves in the neck that can cause it. Stated Naruto. Plus she was too young for the minimum to be a Hunter Nin for Kiri. If I had to guess from the voice and overall appearance, plus chakra capacity, she was about 13 years old and high Chunin in level. Kakashi sensei. Is this true? Asked Sakura, hoping beyond hope that the blonde was lying. Yes, Zabuza is alive and the Hunter Nin is his partner to some degree. This causes problems as the Hunter Nin is an unknown, but me and Naruto have deduced that Zabuza's partner is at least Chunin in level and most likely specializes in throwing weapons and ninjutsu. Stated Kakashi. No way. How can anyone our age be that strong? Even Sasuke-kun isn't that strong. Stated Sakura. Sakura. It's important you learn this now. In this world, there are people younger than you and stronger than me. Naruto is a prime example. Stated Kakashi, getting an incredulous look from Sakura and a raised eyebrow from Sasuke. Yay, right, just because he beat some missing ninja doesn't make him strong. Stated Sakura as if that made any sense. Oh. And what makes Sasuke so great? He didn't do shit versus Zabuza. Stated Naruto. He's an Uchiha. He's an elite ninja, and when he unlocks the Sharingan, he will be the strongest. Stated Sakura. Both Naruto and Kakashi shared looks of concern. Sasuke is strong, just because of his Uchiha blood. Not because he put in uncountable hours, even days of work. He's strong because of a name, and not the fact that he trained his ass off, questioned Naruto. Sasuke mentally was smiling because of the hidden compliment. Sasuke is strong because he's Sasuke, stated the now angry Kunoichi. Sasuke is as strong as he is because he's worked for it. He's the strongest of your class by a mile because he worked his ass off, and you're insulting him by stating that he didn't. Same with Kakashi. He's the son of the White Fang, but you probably didn't know that, seeing as the academy is useless. Do you think that Kakashi graduated from the academy at the lowest age ever, became a Jonin by age 13, Anbu commander at 14, and is considered one of the top candidates to be the next Hokage, simply because his father was strong? Questioned Naruto with a voice devoid of any emotion. Kakashi-sensei had a strong father and he's strong too. Stated Sakura as if that statement explained everything. And what about Hiruzen Sarutobi? He made his own clan. What of Minato Namikaze? The fourth Hokage and arguably the most dangerous man in the world, he was an orphan. Same with Jiraiya and Orochimaru the Sannin. They were both orphans, and they are arguably the strongest men in the world. Stated Naruto, but he still had to drive the point home. What about the third Raikage? No one knew who his parents were. Why don't we go by village? Suna, the third Kage was born in a family of merchants. Iwa, the second Tsuchikage was found on the streets as a boy and was raised by the Shodan. Kiri, their most powerful, is still in office. He's 30 years old and he is son of two Chunins. Sakura didn't know how to answer that. She knew that the fourth Hokage was an orphan, and that the last two Kage were both from non-shinobi families, thanks to reading some extra books at the library. But to hear that 6 of the most powerful men in history came from non-shinobi background nearly crushed what she was taught to believe. What do we do now? Questioned Sasuke, a rare smile on his face. After all the hard work he had done, It was nice to have someone see his hard work, though it angered him that Naruto had discounted the Uchiha name. This team can handle Zabuza and his partner, so what do we do now? To say that Kakashi and Naruto were shocked was an understatement. Sasuke had just said, "This team can handle." Does that mean that he was finally breaking his shell? They both knew it was probably to inflate his own ego that his team was strong, but it was a start. "Easy, we train," stated Kakashi, flipping another page in his book. Zabuza is an up-close fighter. His partner is most likely a mid-range fighter. We'll be training your chakra control and capacity. After that I'll go over some jutsu and maybe speed training, stated Naruto. What jutsu? With Zabuza, some demon. You got beat by a bunch of kids, shouted Gato. First off, I lost to a ninja who is just as strong and even more infamous than I, and that was no kid, stated Zabuza, who then fell silent. There's a group my former teammate is part of. Contact them and you'll have this bridge builder dead in no time. Though it might cost ya. Like hell, I'm hiring more ninja. I paid you to kill the bridge builder and you're going to do it, shouted Gato. Listen, you little bucket of fuck. They have 2 at least high class ninja. You need an S class for something like that. I'm not an S class ninja. If you want the bridge builder dead, you need more ninja. And they're the only ones that would take the job, stated Zabuza. Fine, but it's coming out of your pay. Now who is this group you speak of? Training ground, alright. Time for the first exercise. Tree walking, stated Kakashi, still on crutches from the cut he got from Zabuza. Naruto may be able to use medical chakra, but he was no Tsunade. How will climbing trees help us get stronger? Questioned Sasuke. A few ways actually. Here, watch me, stated Naruto as he moved to a tree and began to walk up the trunk, as he came to a branch and walked out onto it. He then cut the flow of chakra to his feet, twisted his body and landed gracefully at the foot of the tree. You channel chakra to the bottom of your feet and walk up the tree. This practices chakra control, increases your reserves and helps builds muscle because you're constantly fighting gravity. When you can walk up and down the tree of fight on the tree for 15 minutes straight, we'll move on to the next step. And how does this help me become stronger? I could just do push-ups, sit-ups and squats. Who cares about chakra control? Questioned Sasuke. Uchiha, what could happen if you put too much chakra into a fire jutsu? Asked Naruto calmly. It would explode in my face, stated Sasuke. And what about too little chakra? It wouldn't ignite, stated Sasuke, his voice showing his temper rising. So having good control would help with a high-level fire jutsu, right? Now climb the damn tree. 2 days later, I'm impressed, Haruno. Your reserves are now low to mid-genin. Very nice. I think it's time you started water walking, stated Naruto. Kakashi was at the bridge, seeing as he could still destroy bandits if need be. What about me? I'm an Uchiha, shouted Sasuke from about halfway up the tree, but he lost his focus and fell from the tree. That's why, dumbass, finish the tree walking exercise and I'll teach you water walking. Earth style. Great crater jutsu. Water style. Liquefaction jutsu, stated Naruto as he made a 20-foot diameter hole in the ground. Water then forced its way up into the hole, filling it with murky water. Okay Sakura, now apply a layer of chakra to your feet and use it to push against the water. It's going to be a constantly changing amount, so tread carefully. Unknown location. I see why you like him, Ra. But do you think that he is truly next in line? His father, while promising, didn't make the cut. What do you think makes him different? Stated a tall, extremely muscular man with jet black hair, tan skin and pure black eyes with blue slotted pupils. He wore a deep blue toga and black wristbands. Well, so far, the immortal phoenix has accepted him, showing that he is indeed the descendant of the last champion. He has those gifted eyes. Plus, he truly cares about the world's well-being, stated Ra, a medium height, rather scrawny redhead with equally tan skin and eyes of pure scarlet. He wore a blood-red toga with light green wristbands. Oh. And just how do you know that? Stated the muscular man, his bulky arms crossed across his chest. He's found his own answer to the great question. And it's good enough for me, I'm sure it will be good enough for you, stated Ra. Oh. And why don't you fill me in, oh great Phoenix Lord, laughed the built man. Coming from a dragon that's almost comical, especially you Iroh, retorted Ra. The bulky man's sweat dropped. Hey, at least I'm not that damn Chimera rock. Retorted the tall muscular man, now identified as Iroh. Good point, now would you like to hear his answer? Questioned Ra, HMPH, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to hear it, though I doubt that it will change my mind. Muttered Iroh, he's going to break the cycle by taking all the hatred on himself. He said that he would eliminate all that is evil, and when his job is done, he will willingly forfeit his own life to permanently break the cycle. Stated Ra with a smile on his usually stoic face. Wow. Did he speak with conviction when he spoke those words? Questioned Iroh. His right eyebrow raised. Such words have not been spoken since we entrusted him with our gifts. Even more than when he found that same answer. I'm going to give him one more test, and if he passes, I'm giving him a portion of the great power. Stated Ra, his pure red eyes staining into the glass-like dome in front of them. From the way you speak, you sound as if you have already met the boy personally, spoke Iroh, his tone dangerous and his eyes narrowed. I have, though not as any form you know me as. I went to visit the blonde ball of energy about 2 Earth years ago. Even as a 10-year-old he spoke with great authority and wisdom, though not arrogantly. He may be rough around the edges, but he will make a great champion. Stated Ra, his unnaturally smooth voice showing his absolute conviction in the boy's potential. Then a test it is, though you're going to have to convince that damned Chimera to give his test. Stated Iroh, he always was a stubborn son of a bitch, but I don't think that even he can discount this young human's resolve. Stated Ra, what test will you give him? Not that damned riddle again, I hope. No, that was always Rock's test, I'll let him use it if he wishes. My test will be similar to your first test. Where you gave him your feather, I will test him with my fang. Stated Iroh, a large grin on his face. A tall task indeed, stated Ra, his eyes widened slightly. Let's hope it goes better than the last human you gave the test to. Next day, so Sakura can water walk already. After only 1 day? Questioned Kakashi. They were sitting at the kitchen table, waiting for the other members to wake up. Yep, but the Uchiha is only about 3/4 the way up the tree. His emotions are getting in the way. He's going to need to be broken of that soon, or it's going to get him killed. Stated Naruto. I was sure that he would break out of this by now. Stated Kakashi, mostly to himself. Well, if you don't mind, I'll guard the bridge today. Maybe some time away from me will calm him down a bit. I'm not teaching the Uchiha or his fangirls any of my personal chakra control exercises, and I'm definitely not teaching them any of my jutsu. Stated Naruto. Can't blame you there. Go ahead and take the bridge duty. We still have about a week until Zabuza's back to normal, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had help. Stated Kakashi. I'll be sure to keep a lookout. 3 days later, clearing in woods, to think. I'm the son of the Yondaime. Still floors me. And I'm still going to take your power one day, Fox. Stated Naruto, get used to it, brat. The man is your father and now he's one of your paths. Though I must admit, I still don't believe you could take full control of me. The Sage of 6 Paths had a power beyond your imagining. Even with your 8-tailed state, he would destroy you in a second. Claimed the fox, though it wasn't as menacing as it usually was, seeing as the fox was currently the size of a large horse. Just how strong was he, Fox? I mean, from what you've told me, he took on a being that was all the tailed beast combined. Asked Naruto. He wasn't simple strong, brat. He was powerful. Even that pervert's butchered toad sage mode wouldn't last a second against him, and I believe that the pervert is the strongest human on the planet right now. Stated the fox. Really? Questioned Naruto with an eyebrow cocked. He's a sage. The sage is bound to be the most powerful. The only thing that can stand in the way of a sage is a sage. But like I said, the toad sage is nothing compared to a full sage. Stated the fox. Someone is approaching, I believe it's that hunter nin that was with Zabuza. Naruto nodded and left his mindscape, finding the fox was once again right. The now maskless hunter nin was walking below Naruto, who had been sitting in a tree. Naruto slowly leaked out his chakra and flashed behind the fake hunter nin. You know, started Naruto, the hunter nin spun around and if not for her shinobi training, would have shrieked in surprise. I wouldn't suspect that one from the Yuki clan would ever be a hunter nin, mostly because of the whole bloodline hater thing. Though maybe that's why you left with Zabuza. How do you know all of this? Have you been spying on us? questioned Haku, fear present in her eyes. No, if I knew where you were staying, Zabuza would be dead right now. And no, I'm not going to kill you. Stated Naruto. Why not? We are enemies, it is kill or be killed, and even if you don't kill me, what makes you so sure I won't kill you? Asked the fake hunter Nin. Your left hand twitched towards where you presumably hold your Senbon. Difficult tool to use, those needles are. Even harder to kill with, even more so when you've never killed before. Stated Naruto calmly, while the hunter Nin was getting even more scared. What do you talk about? I have killed before, I'm a hunter Nin. No, you're not. Your eyes show you haven't killed before, you're still pure and innocent. Tell Zabuza that he shouldn't be working with Gato, the man is dirtier than almost anyone else, and I doubt that he's actually going to pay you. Farewell hunter, I'll most likely see you when we fight next week. That night, Gato's warehouse, you're the super powerful ninja I sent for. You sure don't look like much. Stated Gato, you would be surprised. One does not get labeled S rank for nothing. Now, if you would please tell us our targets, we can get started on our price. That punk Zabuza said that the ninja you will be fighting are Kakashi Hatake, a young blonde-haired boy, that apparently is stronger than Zabuza is, 2 genin, and your final targets are Zabuza and his partner. Stated Gato, Hatake and Momochi. Those are some big bounties. And another Sharingan to add to my collection. Quick question before we end off, should Zabuza and Haku live? Should they both die? Should just one live? I need your opinion on this one. Hopefully you guys liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, see you in the next one. Get to subscribe, see you in the next one.